By a representative from the city of El Dorado.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome. It is time for El Dorado Bronco baseball from McDonald Stadium here in El Dorado. Kurt Caden along with Avery Osen as the Broncos begin the first of a three-game series with the Hayes Larks. And Avery, the Broncos, before I get your comments, just want to let folks know we've got a couple of ceremonial first pitches tonight. First, the young lady, Ariana Flormignon, that's it, who just throws a strike in there to Cameron Knight. She is from Milan, Italy. She's been with her host family for almost a year. She leaves at the end of this month, so nice job by her. And now Freddie. If anyone's familiar with Freddie's Frozen Custard, Freddie's restaurants, he's just a tremendous guy, and he's going to throw. It's Freddie's night here at the park, and we're enjoying some of Freddie's good karma, I guess, here, huh?
Yeah, that was a pretty good throw there for Mr. Freddie.
Free ice cream tonight. Frozen yogurt, not ice cream, yogurt, frozen yogurt. Avery, the Broncos and the Larks getting ready to do battle here. Apologize for some of you that may have been waiting for us to. I think we have audio coming through your. Those of you waiting, we were planning on going on at 6:50, but found out that there's some issues with if the national anthem is recorded, playing that over the air because it's copyrighted music. So we got to be careful about that. So our start time may be a little bit later. Kind of crazy. There we go. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll probably start going on a little bit, just a couple minutes later. So if we're not on, don't panic. We will be here before the game starts.
Let's look at the Hayes lineup. They will bat Michael Burns first, the center fielder. Batting second, Matt Ludi, the first baseman. Tyler Leffler bats third. The is the second baseman batting eighth, and Kevin Zarnacki, the third baseman, bats ninth. Jake Fromson's on the hill tonight for Hayes.
Now let's look at who's on the diamond tonight for the El Dorado Broncos. We'll go left to right, starting in the outfield. Clayton Dalrymple starting in left field. In center field, Dylan Muka. In right field is Jacob Spring. Now for your infield, starting at third base, Trevor Azell. Shortstop, Morgan Oliver. At second base is Levi Parker. And at first base is Brandon Cuddy. Catching tonight, Cameron Knight, and he will be catching the ball from starting pitcher Matt Slaughter.
And the first pitch is underway, and it is hit out to left center field, and tracking it down, Dalrymple, he couldn't pull it in. And it's going to be a leadoff double for Michael Burns, as that one, Dalrymple extended, didn't get the dive out there, and it looked like the ball just went over his glove there, Avery, as Muka and Dalrymple were converging on it.
And I'm sure most of our audience doesn't know, but it's been pretty overcast and rainy here late last night into today. And right at the start, got a grass field out in the outfield, and Michael Burns doesn't wait any time and tests the outfielders in that probably a little wet grass out there. As we can see, the warning track appears to be a little muddy, but we are still a go here at McDonald Stadium.
First pitch temperature, 77 degrees from El Dorado. Slaughter falls behind 1-0 to Matt Ludi. And I know we're going to have some folks from Hayes listening in and watching tonight. And, if we're mispronouncing a name really badly, feel free right here on our YouTube page to just, you can throw your comments on there and let us know. That's the easiest way. We'll do our best to get them. But sometimes when you don't get pronunciation guides and it's our first time seeing the Larks, you'll get some bad pronunciations by your broadcasters. Slaughter comes in on a 2-0 pitch for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike to Matt Ludi. First baseman plays his ball at Nebraska. He's from Shoreview, Minnesota. The 2-1 from Slaughter way out in front. There was Ludi, and it's 2-2. No score. Top of the first. Burns led off the game with a leadoff double. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the number 2 hitter, Ludi. And Slaughter comes home, and again way out in front was Ludi, and a strikeout for Slaughter. So 1 away, and that'll bring up Tyler Leffler. Last time we saw Slaughter was Sunday night against Denver. Slaughter went 4 innings, gave up 6 hits, 4 earned, had a couple of strikeouts, did not walk a man. What I remember from Slaughter that night, Avery, is he was right around the plate his 4 innings in there. No walks, which was good, but Denver was able to touch him up for some runs. But all in all, I thought a pretty good first effort for Slaughter.
Yeah, and the main thing is no walks there in this game.
As Leffler pops one to center field, and Muka will take it out there, and that'll be the second out.
Obviously, in this game, you don't want to give any free passes, and that's exactly what we saw. What was that?
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night was a lot of free passes, which ended up leading to, for both teams, for the Broncos and the Twins, runs. And so Slaughter did a nice job keeping runners off the base paths.
So leadoff double by Burns, but then a strikeout and a flyout. And now the designated hitter, Ty Detmer. I aged myself a little bit with my son here saying, Ty Detmer. You remember Ty Detmer? He was a record-breaking quarterback for Brigham Young University back in the 80s. But you didn't recall. And he was played in the pros, but this is not the same Ty Detmer, just the same name. Probably spelled differently. I think the Detmer is spelled differently, but that was immediately when I saw that in my lineup, I said, the old quarterback from BYU. No balls and a strike to Detmer, and Slaughter's pitch is right in there, and strike 2. Tell you what, Avery, Slaughter has done a nice job bearing down and leadoff double. I think it was even on the first pitch from Burns, and now he has come back strong, and he's 1 pitch away from getting out of this with no damage done.
Yeah, how about that response here from Matt? No outs, guy on second, and he's still there. 2 outs, 2 strikes in this at-bat.
Not paying a lot of attention there. Levi Parker's keeping Burns honest, but here's the 0-2 from Slaughter. Cameron Knight behind the plate, and they wasted high and outside. Of course, Avery and I have really appreciated seeing the comments from the folks, either emails or comments right here on the YouTube page. Feel free throughout the night to let us know what you think of the game and where you might be listening from and who you're cheering for, and we have a chance if you're going to be coming to El Dorado anytime this summer. The 1-2 from Slaughter, and that is whacked, but way foul by Detmer. Detmer from Breese, Illinois, goes to the University of Chicago, Illinois. Here's a catcher outfielder DHing tonight. Where's number 5, right-handed batter? Hayes has the red and blue tops with the gray pants. We're seeing another different look here from our Broncos tonight. The all-white uniforms, the white vest, and the orange undershirts. As Slaughter just missed, and it's 2-2. Tried again to go outside. Detmer didn't bite. As Avery said, overcast. The wind is blowing in exactly how it was here on Wednesday, straight in from right field, and then it swirls maybe towards center. The 2-2 from Slaughter, and got Detmer on the shoulder. Slaughter wanted to go to the inside corner. Detmer stayed in there, and he'll take it off the shoulder and take his base. So that's the first hit batsman of the year for Slaughter. And now the number 5 hitter, Derek Berginski, comes up. He's the right fielder. Sophomore from Russellville, Arkansas, goes to Arkansas State. And the pitch from Slaughter, and Berginski drills one to left field. Dalrymple goes back, and that is gone. Way out of here, and a 3-run homer for Derek Berginski.
Matt just let that one hang a little too long in the middle of the plate, and Berginski didn't even hesitate there. 1 pitch and a home run.
Dalrymple gave it a look, but really well struck there by Berginski. So that gives the Larks, boy, I'll tell you what, 2 outs. It looked like, Avery, that 2 outs and 0-2 on Detmer, that Slaughter was going to get out of trouble. And then the next thing you know, you hit batter and a 3-run homer, and all of a sudden there is damage done here in the top half of the first. So the first pitch to catcher Tanner. Not dump too much as Deviney swings and miss in strike 2. First pitch swinging was Berginski just a moment ago. 3-0 Hayes. Slaughter's 0-2 pitch outside. Avery mentioned the positions. Jonathan Schmitz tonight DHing and Cameron Knight back behind the plate. Cameron was not in the lineup originally on Wednesday, but came in there when Sam Lane got hurt. And we did not, we showed up maybe a little bit later. We were unable to get any report on Sam, but he is not in tonight's lineup for the first time this year. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch from Slaughter. And that just goes across the plate inside. And it's 3-2. We're seeing the Hayes batters really battle up there even when they get into an 0-2 hole. Time called by Deviney. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 3-0 Hayes. A double, a hit batter, and a 3-run homer. And the pitch from Slaughter just missed. Slaughter thought he had it, but he gets instead a walk to Deviney. So the number 7 batter, the left fielder, Evan Gruner, comes to the plate. Freshman from Rogersville, Missouri, plays at Bradley University. And another left-handed batter for Hayes. And the pitch from Slaughter, and way out in front there was Gruner. Seems like the Larks, Avery, early on in the count, they're a little aggressive, swinging. We've seen them first pitch swinging, they get into holes, but when they get to 0-2, they really get defensive and really kind of shorten that strike zone.
Yep, we've seen that out of at least 2 of the batters here, and another 0-2 count.
Third batter out of 4 that has gone to the 0-2 count. Slaughter. With a man on first, it's Tanner Deviney. And the pitch just outside. A lot of times you'll see pitchers on 0-2 really waste one. I don't think Slaughter is really wasting his 0-2 pitches. He is trying to get the batters to maybe swing outside the strike zone. They're just not doing it. And Slaughter again is outside. That's all of a sudden becoming a very heavily taxed first inning here for Matt Slaughter. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Gruner, and the pitch way outside, ball 3. So the third batter out of 4 to go 0-2, and also the third batter out of 4 to work the count to 3-2. Detmer got hit by a pitch. Deviney walked, and a strikeout of Gruner. But Derek Berginski lights up the scoreboard as he drilled one to deep left field for a 3-run homer. Our score after a half inning, Hayes 3, El Dorado coming to bat. We'll have their lineup and the Hayes fielders by position in just a moment as you watch and listen to El Dorado Bronco baseball. So let's give you the batting lineup here for El Dorado as they will lead off with center fielder Dylan Muka. Clayton Dalrymple will bat second, playing left field. Brandon Cuddy, what a night he had, 5 for 6 in the win here Wednesday. He will bat third and play first base. Jonathan Schmitz, the DH, bats fourth. Jacob Spring, the right fielder, batting fifth. Trevor Azell at third base will bat sixth. Cameron Knight, the catcher, bats seventh. Levi Parker will bat eighth, and over at shortstop is Morgan Oliver, and Matt Slaughter is on the hill for the Broncos.
In the field for the Hayes Larks, starting in the outfield, and left field is Evan Gruner. In center field, Michael Burns. Right field is Derek Berginski. On the infield tonight at third base, Kevin Zarnacki. Shortstop, Tyler Lettler. Second base, Zaire Komen. And at first base is Matt Ludi. Catching the ball tonight is Tanner Deviney. And starting pitching is Jake Fromson.
Fromson starts off Muka with a strike. And the 0-1 fought off by Muka as it kind of lobs over the gate or the fencing in front of the El Dorado dugout, and it lands in the dugout. But as I mentioned, kind of lobbed its way in there. And an 0-2 count for Dylan Muka. The pitch from Fromson, he'll bounce one into the turf, and it'll be 1-2. Muka from Centennial, Colorado. That's just outside of Denver. The pitch hit to the shortstop, and that'll be fielded by Leffler. Fires over to first and one away. So with one down, time for Clayton Dalrymple to come to the plate. Kind of a KSU reunion here, Avery, with Dalrymple batting and Fromson pitches for Kansas State.
I've always wondered when two teams were like in the pros, whenever a batter and a pitcher that played for former teams together, I want to know who has the advantage. Would you say the pitcher or the batter?
I don't know if there's an advantage. Sure. So these three probably have done this in practice up in Manhattan a lot. Fromson maybe throwing BP and maybe Deviney catching, and Dalrymple getting some hacks up there. 1 ball and 1 strike to Clayton, and the pitch is on the corner for strike 2. Fromson brings it in pretty good. Right-handed pitcher. Freshman out of Lee Summit, Missouri is Fromson. The 1-2 to Dalrymple, a curveball, and that bounced away into the turf and to the backstop. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Brandon Cuddy would be next for the Broncos. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Clayton gathers himself. Deviney was in the crouch, and he pops up for a moment. Now he's back down, and here comes Fromson with the delivery on 2-2. And the pitch, Dalrymple fights one off over the first baseman's head into right field, and a base hit for Clayton Dalrymple. No chance for Ludi there. That was just popped far enough and high enough over Ludi, and a nice base hit for Dalrymple.
I think Clayton answered our question there. I think he says the batter has the advantage in that. As a good little bloop single over first baseman Matt Ludi there.
It was a good pitch by Fromson. But nice job by Clayton Dalrymple to pull the hands in and just get in kind of inside out that one to right field. Clayton likes to be aggressive on the base paths. We have seen that. Brandon Cuddy at the plate looks at ball 1. And what a debut for Cuddy Wednesday night, Avery. His first game of the season with the Broncos, and he made his presence felt.
Yeah, just a little bit with his, Brandon Cuddy had home run. He was, I have 5 for 6 in that game. So, yeah, quite the debut. Now we'll look for him to follow that up every game, but I don't think we're going to. It'll be a fun year to watch him.
He had a home run. Home run, couple doubles, couple singles. El Dorado won here Wednesday night, 22-8 over Derby. Dalrymple lead off at first, and Cuddy misses at the 1-0 pitch, and it's 1-1. Jonathan Schmitz, a DH, is in the on-deck circle for El Dorado. We've had some hitting heroes here in just 4 games at McDonald Stadium. Cuddy with that 5-for-6 night Wednesday. Jonathan Schmitz, the 3 home run game on Monday night. Or was it Sunday night? Sunday or Monday. It was against Denver. We know that. So we've had some excitement early on in this season. The Broncos off to a 4-0 start. Dalrymple goes. Cuddy hits it off the middle. It's off of Fromson to the shortstop, who's still able to fire out Cuddy. So that's actually a 1-6-3 putout. Leffler showed a good arm strength there. And fortunate for Fromson, he got a glove on that ball, but he didn't misdirect it too terribly much. As Leffler was going to cover second on the steal from Dalrymple, the ball glanced off Fromson's glove, and it was in the neighborhood of where Leffler was anyway.
Just to let everybody know that Schmidt's 3 home run game was Sunday night.
Okay. You start doing all these, and they start running a little bit together. 3-0, Hayes, 2 outs, bottom of the first. Dalrymple on his way to third. There's the throw, and Clayton steals it, so he doesn't get a stolen base to second because the ball was hit, but he'll get a stolen base on his way to third.
Now any base hit from Jonathan will put the Broncos on the board.
Normally, with 2 outs and your number 4 hitter up, you probably wouldn't want to risk stealing third, but Fromson never really gave Dalrymple a look at second. And that may be something, as curveball's in for a strike, that Dalrymple knows of Fromson at K-State. Maybe he doesn't hold runners on very well. Clayton got a good jump and stole it pretty easily. But boy, if you get caught there at third, you just feel, but you don't want to ever make the third out at third base. No balls and 2 strikes, and Fromson just missed on the 0-2. So Jonathan Schmitz down in the count 1-2. He's batting .438 on the season. Right-handed stick from Tarleton State University. Schmitz looks at the curveball and fights it off. We'll do it again at 1-2. If you're joining us just a bit late, Derek Berginski for Hayes hit a 2-out, 3-run homer to give the Larks the 3-0 lead. That off of Matt Slaughter. We're in the bottom of the first. Muka grounded out. Dalrymple singled, got to second on a fielder's choice, and stole third. Schmitz is behind the fastball, fouls it out of play. Jacob Spring is on deck. Lots going on at the yard tonight. It's Freddie's Frozen Custard night, and it's also the City of El Dorado night. So nice crowd already here at the stadium, and we hope to see more. Hopefully folks not scared off by the threat of rain. And you looked at the radar, and it looked like we're good for a little while.
Yeah, it looks like maybe just a little light rain.
Schmitz swings and misses, and strike 3. So no runs on a hit, no errors, and 1 left. We're through 1. Hayes 3, El Dorado 0. More play-by-play in a moment as you watch and listen to El Dorado Bronco baseball.
A big welcome to the City of El Dorado employees that are all gathered here this evening. Also tonight, Frozen Custard is our sponsor for the evening. They've got Frozen Custard. They're giving away Frozen Custard, as a matter of fact, in the concourse down the lower level. The Broncos concession stand is up and running. They've got hot dogs, hamburgers, and all kinds of other good stuff. So go down and get yourself something to eat. Top off with some Freddy's Frozen Custard, courtesy of tonight's game sponsor.
Well, welcome back on an overcast Friday night from El Dorado. The 4-0 Broncos taking on the Hayes Larks, and it's 3-0 Hayes. And just think, as I see a lot of the youth here in the park tonight, Avery, I mean, what could be better not only for a kid to come to a baseball game, but then get free frozen custard. Your choice of chocolate or vanilla, or you can do like I did and get both.
Yeah, that's a pretty good deal there for the kids and the parents, I would say.
As a parent, though, you feel better saying, oh, it's good for the kids. It's really good for the kids. They like it. Oh, excuse me, Zaire Coleman first pitch swinging. He's a kid out of Wichita State. He'll fly out to Dalrymple in left field. Hayes is not wasting much time. We're seeing them very aggressive early and often in the count, except for when they get to 0-2. Then they're very defensive, and they've been successful there as well.
Well, and it seems like the Hayes players either are going out swinging first pitch, or the count ends up 3-2.
First pitch here is off speed and inside to Kevin Zarnacki, the number 9 batter for the Larks. He's a left-handed batter. And Slaughter's pitch is hit to Morgan Oliver, a slow roller. He'll come in on it, fire it over to first base, and record the second out. And after that taxing first inning, Slaughter could really use a nice, quick second inning, in my opinion here, Avery.
Well, I'm going to be careful here because last inning, Slaughter had a guy on second with 2 outs and was 1 strike away from getting out of the first unscathed. And somehow the Larks ended up putting 3 runs on the board. So you want to stay focused here and just get the next batter.
The first pitch to the leadoff batter, Michael Burns, is a strike. Always nice when you see 2 winning pitchers come up into the press box. Jeremy McGowan was tremendous here. Was that Wednesday night? And Landon Bush got the win. Landon got the win Wednesday against Derby, so it was Monday night, right, Jeremy? Yeah. Base hit here for Burns. So the Broncos are 4-0 on the year, and 2 of the pitchers who have got 2 of those 4 victories are in the box. Now, if they're roaming the stadium, do they have a chance to go get some free frozen custard? Yeah.
They're shaking their heads.
Yeah, you don't want to miss out on that. Well, they're pitchers. See, I mean, you know, the starting pitcher, he knows he's probably not, if he's not in there to start, he's probably not in there. Bush could probably pitch tonight, but he's got tennis shoes on, so I'm not thinking so. There's a slide and a steal by Michael Burns, who had singled just a moment ago as I'm jabbering about Jeremy and Landon. So runner on second with 2 out, no balls and 1 strike to Matt Ludy, who struck out back in the first inning. Slaughter from the stretch. He'll take a look at second, and now the pitch, and he went off speed, and Ludy was in front of that one, and it's 0-2. Again, an 0-2 count.
Like you said, their Larks are very aggressive at the start of at bats, and then they kind of seem to pull back once it gets to 0-2, and like you said, play defensive.
No balls and 2 strikes. Left-handed batter, Matt Ludy, waiting for Slaughter, and here's the pitch. And hit up the middle. Levi Parker gets a nice Sunday bounce. He'll flip it over to first, and that's the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on. We're through 1.5. It's Larks 3, Broncos 0, and more play-by-play here in a moment as you watch and listen to El Dorado Bronco Baseball. Can I throw a headset on you? I don't want you to get in trouble. And welcome back here. We're at McDonald Stadium. Broncos coming up. They trail 3-0 And leading it off will be the right fielder, Jacob Spring. Landon Bush, I don't want to get him in trouble. I don't know if Coach Gerwick looks up here and sees you with a headset on, if you're going to be in trouble. So, I can stand in front of you. Here's the first pitch, and it's a strike. Avery and I were talking about in the first inning, you had Fromson pitching. He's from K-State. Dalrymple batting. He's from K-State.
Right.
Deviney catching. He's from K-State. As Spring lines one to shortstop for the first out. And you're from K-State, so what is that like? In this kind of league, is Clayton joking around with Deviney or anything? Is he winking at Fromson? Is Fromson doing anything? What kind of you think conversations going on with those three there on that last at bat?
Well, I mean, it's always funny when you got three guys that are all play on the same team that are facing each other. But knowing Clayton the last 2 years, he probably took it pretty serious, wanted to take a hit off of old Fromson. So.
And we saw him get a hit. He was stealing second when Cuddy hit it to short, and then Dalrymple stole third on Fromson. Now is that normally you don't steal third with 2 outs, as there's another line drive, this time by Azell, and again it's caught by Leffler. There's 2 away. A little gamesmanship there at all? Is something Dalrymple picked up on Fromson? Maybe he doesn't hold runners. I don't know.
Well, I mean, he played with them all spring. He hit off them all fall. He knows them pretty well. So I think he took that to his advantage a little bit and tried to steal a base and came up with a hit here. So we'll see what he has in store for us the rest of the game.
Cameron Knight up with 2 away here in the bottom of the second. You guys are off to a nice start. You got the win here Wednesday in a game that featured 11 pitchers, 22 runs, 22 hits by you guys. It was a tough night for guys on the hill, but you didn't seem to have too many issues.
Well, I left a couple balls in the middle of the plate, but I happened to come in for a couple innings and kind of snake out a win. So it's always nice for our offense to get off to a hot start in the Jayhawk League, and hopefully we can continue that here tonight and this weekend.
What do you know about these Hayes Larks? Slaughter, after giving up a leadoff double, got 2 guys down, was nearly out of that inning, hit a batter, and then a 3-run homer. What do you guys know? What's the scouting report on these guys? Do you know, if anything?
I don't know much about them here. Other than the first 2 innings I've kind of watched, but it seems like they all kind of know their way around a baseball bat here, and they know how to hit a little bit. So we'll see how it goes here the next couple of days, but hopefully we can get some outs and give our offense a little breathing room.
You played K-State as Knight flew out to right field. That ends the second inning. What's that? Oh, no, we'll leave it right there. It's a long season. There's a lot of games you guys play in not many days off and whatnot, and much like Division I college baseball, I imagine, as well.
Yeah, spring season gets to be a little long at times. There's a lot of games played, and we fortunately got a couple weeks off here before this season starts, and we were already off to kind of a rolling start with all the games we played in the last week and a half, and it's all fun, and hopefully continue to play well through the summer and lead into the NBC World Series.
This team 4-0. You guys have been tested in 3 games and then had the blowout win here Wednesday night. But the makeup of the squad, what's the camaraderie like here early in the season? Some of you guys know each other. You know Clayton, I'm sure, and some of the others. But is it kind of a growing process here?
It is. But in the first couple of weeks, everybody seemed to get they seem to come together quite nicely. I mean, we all get along pretty well. We hang out outside the field and getting to know each other a little bit. I know Jeremy and Chase and Mike Hahn from last year. So it's kind of nice coming back and knowing some of these guys. But so far, everybody's got along pretty well. We get to the park, we joke around, and then when the game starts, it's all business.
I'm in long time ago when I played Legion baseball. I mean, it was the greatest time because you don't have school. All you do is play baseball. It's not a bad way to spend a summer.
It's not. I know my roommate Morgan is taking a few classes online, but gets those knocked out early in the morning, and then you get to relax a little bit, and all you got to worry about is playing baseball. So that's kind of nice. Lastly,
do you know anything on Sam Lane? We weren't able to get any information. How is he doing after getting injured Wednesday night? Do we know anything on him?
I don't think anything's broken. I think it's just I think he might have dislocated a finger.
Okay.
So I think he's resting it here the next couple of days, and hopefully be ready to play again.
Well, fantastic to visit with you, and I know I'm just kind of throwing myself out there. Avery and I doing the games this year, so we're glad to have you guys here. And anytime you guys come up here, tell the coach you got to run up to the press box, and we'll get you on the air.
Sounds good.
All right. Landon Bush joining us, and Mr. McGowan is over here as well. We got an email from Grandpa, I think. Was it or Dad? It was a McGowan. A McGowan emailed us. Yeah. So next time we'll get Jeremy on here. All right. So we are in the top of the third. I seized a chance there, Avery. We don't get to do. It's hard to get these guys before the game because they're doing. They're getting ready for the game, and after the game they go talk and do their thing, and we have a longer drive home, so we don't get much chance to talk to the players. So maybe a little out of the ordinary, but fun to visit with Landon Bush there. As Hayes is batting here in the top of the third, and let's send it over to Avery Osen.
Yeah, first off, that was a good interview there. It's interesting to hear what Landon had to say about playing with some of his teammates now, and also going against some of his teammates that go and play for other teams here during the off season. Well, the off season of the school year here in summer ball. Ty Detmer up for the Hayes Larks. He's the designated hitter. He got hit by a pitch back in the first inning. First pitch from Slaughter is a little outside for ball one. Right-handed batter Ty Detmer. Next pitch from Slaughter is also outside, ball two. Larks lead 3-0 here in the top of the third. Slaughter's 2-0 pitch in there for strike one. Hayes an extended stay here in El Dorado as they'll play tomorrow night and also Sunday night. Slaughter's 2-1 pitch is yanked down the left field line. That'll even up the count at 2-2. Two count to Leffler. Leffler's pitch. Fly down the right field line. It'll yank. It'll actually go outside the fence. And that'll be another foul ball. Just a long strike. And it's 2-2. Next pitch to him is inside and got Detmer swinging for out number two. That'll bring up the 3-run home run guy and Derek Berginski. Yanked one down into left field as he'll chop one to Oliver at shortstop this go-round, and he is thrown out by a step as Slaughter goes 1-2-3 here in the top of the third. Broncos coming up to bat. You are listening and watching El Dorado Broncos baseball here from McDonald Stadium.
Because this is the first year where they're doing
Jake Fromson throws his last warm-up pitch before the bottom of the third inning, the 8-9 one-hole coming up for the Broncos. Levi Parker, Morgan Oliver, and back to the top of the lineup in Dylan Muka. 3-0 Larks. First pitch grounded to third base. And they'll get Levi Parker, that is. Good throw from Kevin Zarnecki for out number one. Now Morgan Oliver stepping up to the plate, and Chad Gerwick's going to keep him in that 9 spot. I can't blame him. He's been awfully good. I think something like 7 for 9 in his last 2 games in that position. Right-handed batter versus right-handed pitcher, Jake Fromson. First pitch from Jake. A little bit low. Ball 1. Oh, 1 pitch, or 1-0 pitch in there for strike 1. That'll even up the count at 1-1. Next pitch from Fromson, a little low and outside, ball 2. Fromson has retired the last 6 to start this game. Next pitch fouled down the right field line. That'll make the count at 2-2. Wednesday night, Morgan Oliver, 3 for 4, 2 doubles, 3 runs scored in the winning effort. Next pitch from Fromson. Just misses the plate. And that'll make the count full at 3-2. Broncos supporting the white vests, orange shirts under, and they look pretty sharp tonight. Oliver slaps one to second base. They'll be thrown out. An awkward play there at first is, let's see, it's Ludi who's standing on first. He kind of lost his footing on the base and almost got his feet tangled with Morgan Oliver. Luckily, no collision or anything, and both players are fine. But that'll bring up Dylan Muka here with 2 outs in the bottom of the third. Fromson's pitch inside, ball 1, as Muka pulled back a bunt. Play there on that last play was from Zaire Coleman, second baseman. Line drive, base hit for Dylan Muka, right in front of center fielder Michael Burns, and that'll have the Broncos working here in the bottom of the third with 2 outs. And Clayton Dalrymple had a single and later got a stolen base back in the first inning. Fromson delivers and hits the inside corner, strike 1. Dalrymple, right-handed batter against usual teammate up at K-State, Jake Fromson. His pitch, low. Muka steals second, and he's going to be thrown out on the attempt. And that will retire the Broncos here as Fromson faces the minimum in the bottom of the third. Going to the top of the fourth, Larks 3, Broncos nothing. More Broncos baseball here on YouTube coming up. Hayes leads 3-0 here in the top of the fourth inning as Matt Slaughter takes the mound again. And the Larks in the red tops, blue trim, it looks like, for them as Slaughter pitches strike. Oh, 1 pitch from Slaughter. Little outside, ball 1. Baseball is such a funny game, as obviously this game far from over, but the last game on Wednesday night, the Broncos scored 22 runs, correct? 22 runs in a winning effort against the Derby Twins, and tonight in the first 9 outs have 2 hits.
They wrapped out 22 hits in the win as well. Yeah, I mean, you run into a pitcher that's hot, and we don't know a lot about Fromson, if anything, as there's a ground out to the pitcher. But Fromson's really been in control lately, and he's good pitching will always beat good hitting. And we know the Broncos certainly are capable. Only 3. We've seen them come back from bigger deficits. But, yeah, you're right. It's interesting. We didn't see many zeros on their line score on Wednesday night.
And, in fact, we saw 1. That was in the bottom of the 8th inning. And every other inning, they had scored at least 1 run in that game. Slaughter retires Deviney on a comebacker to him. And then Evan Gruner, who struck out back in the first inning, up to bat. The left fielder's swing is jumped back to the screen. And 0-2, advantage Slaughter. The Larks 3 runs on 3 hits. 0-2 pitch from Matt. Right down the middle. Strike 3 had Gruner looking. And 2 down here in the top of the 4th. Zaire Coleman, second baseman. His turn to bat here in the top of the 4th. First pitch from Slaughter looked like a off speed, maybe a curveball. A little low, ball 1.
Coleman made a nice play in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Defensively there, as he really ranged to his left, made a nice glove, grab there, and then fired over to first. You mentioned Ludi kind of got his footwork off, and it looked like Ludi kind of got handcuffed. He got it right at the belt, but they still recorded the out, and it was a nice play by Coleman.
Coleman fouls off the 1-1 pitch, so Slaughter up in the count 1-2. Kevin Zarnecki on the on-deck circle, waiting for his turn if he gets one this inning. Fouled off, 1-2. Coleman flied out to left field, back in the 2nd inning. Next pitch from Slaughter, off speed, and had Coleman way ahead of it. He fouls one down the left field line. So 1-2. to Zaire Coleman. Next pitch. Also fouled off down the left field line. And it'll keep the count at 1-2. Slaughter gets his feet ready on the hill. 1-2 pitch. Low off the turf. That'll even up the count at 2-2. From what we've seen so far through the first 3.2 innings here at McDonald Stadium is once the Larks get down in the count, 0-1, 0-2, they're very disciplined hitters. 2-2 pitch. Fouled by Coleman. That'll keep the count at 2-2. Deuce is wild here in the top of the fourth. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, top of the fourth. Next pitch. Off speed, and he got him swinging. And the Larks go 1-2-3 for the second consecutive inning. And they lead 3-0. Broncos coming up to bat. You're watching El Dorado Broncos baseball here from McDonald Stadium.
A $2 contribution, 10 chances to split that pot 50-50 with your El Dorado Broncos. At this time, they're still over on the third base side, working their way around. We estimate the drawing will be in about the 8th inning. We also understand that you may have received a ticket when you came into McDonald Stadium tonight. Hang on to that ticket. I believe there will be a prize drawing later on with those tickets, so don't lose the ticket that you were handed when you came in, just in case that's good for something too. But keep it separate from your red 50-50 tickets. Fourth inning for the Broncos, leading off left fielder, Clayton Dorado.
Both teams back ready to go here in the bottom of the fourth inning. 3-0 Hayes.
Hey everyone, when we get a moment here, we got a couple of messages already, and what's so cool, I think, about this is, early on with, our first broadcast or two, we had just a handful of listeners, but now, as we're kind of getting the word out in the Jayhawk League, Hayes doesn't have anyone here broadcasting, and so not only are we getting El Dorado Bronco fans, but we're also getting Hayes fans, and so we've got a couple of comments from, I believe, some Hayes parents that I want to, when we get a chance here, but we got Dalrymple in the middle of an at-bat right now.
Yeah, 1-1 to Clayton. Jake Fromson on the hill. As Clayton fouls one down the first base line. Pitcher Fromson gets the advantage at 1-2. Clayton steps into the box. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. I believe the second strikeout from Jake Fromson tonight.
Avery, Jean Danielle, I hope I'm saying that right. She is listening and watching from New Jersey, and they're happy they're able to watch and listen, and wanted to know, are we broadcasting all 3 games? And the answer to that is yes, we are. Avery and I, are broadcasting all of the El Dorado Bronco home games.
Blew out to the shortstop. A good running play there by Tyler Leffler. And quickly, 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth.
So And we might get to the point where we're doing road games, but for now, it all deals with the internet. We have to have internet access to do this. We know we have it here. We know we have space here. So right now, we're just doing the home games. But so to answer your question, we will be here for tomorrow night's game, weather permitting, and Sunday night as well. Or I will be. Avery's got other jobs
Just
this
tomorrow,
summer.
just tomorrow
So,
night.
yeah.
I'll be back Sunday night, but tomorrow night you'll get to hear the voice of Kurt Caden for 9 innings. So
Yike.
it's a good thing. Schmidt hits one right in between third base and shortstop for a base hit, Jonathan Schmitz. So for the second straight inning, the Broncos get a base hit with 2 outs, and that'll bring up right fielder Jacob Spring.
Who's also right-handed.
Who's
I
also
think you were going
right-handed.
that way, too. He's all right.
He likes
isn't
the right side.
Yeah. A lot of El Dorado pitchers below us. They do a 50-50 drawing each home game. And the pitchers who probably aren't going to be pitching tonight, Michael Hahn, he started here Wednesday. And we talked to Landon Bush and McGowan's down there. And Michael Muka as well is here. So
I was interested to see. I was looking at a newspaper around this area puts out a season preview. I was looking at some of the mug shots and stuff, and there's a Dylan Muka and a Michael Muka, both spelled the same way, but they're from totally different places. So I don't think we might have to figure out sometime. I don't think there's any relation there. I think one was from maybe Illinois. And
I thought they were from close.
maybe they are related. I thought that at least I saw they went to different colleges. It was 1-2 down here to Jacob Spring. We'll have to figure that out here in the next couple games and let everybody know. One and two, 2 outs. Schmitz on first. Jacob Spring, the batter. 1-2 pitch, swung on and missed. And that is the end of the bottom of the 4th. Larks still lead 3-0. More El Dorado Bronco baseball coming up from McDonald Stadium.
$2 contribution, 10 chances to flip the box, 50-50 with your El Dorado Broncos. Again, a big welcome to the City of El Dorado employees who are here this evening for City of El Dorado night. Also, a big thanks to Freddy's Frozen Custard, tonight's company game sponsor. Freddy's Frozen Custard has free frozen custard samples down on the lower level. Broncos concession stand is up and operated. Get yourself a hot dog, and hamburger, or hot dogs and nachos. All of that is available at the concession stand on the lower level.
One says Dorado, one says Centennial. I know it's in the same area.
Back here at McDonald Stadium, Hayes 3, El Dorado nothing, and we want to clarify really quick that Michael Muka and Dylan Muka are in fact brothers.
Even though the roster we have has 2 different hometowns now, Aurora, Colorado, and Centennial, Colorado look like they're close. I don't know my Colorado as good as I should.
Slaughter back out as a drive from Kevin Zarnacki is gone.
No, it's caught.
Oh, excuse me. I could have swore I saw that one gone. Excuse me. 3-0 still, Hayes. I lost the ball there, and I saw Dylan Muka kind of turn his back, and I was like, ball must be gone. But how about 1 out?
1 down.
And let's send it over to Kurt Caden here for the 5th inning.
Yeah, this is like night and day what we did on Wednesday night. And that's the fabulous thing about baseball is you never know from one night to the next what kind of game you're going to get. Avery and I broadcasting the Wednesday game for those of you who may have not, if you're a Hayes fan, just to add color to the story here, a 22-8 win from El Dorado But the third and the fourth innings, as Avery and I switch off, we do two, I do two, then he does two, then I do one, then he does two, and I do two. But that third and fourth inning, as a ball hit in the hole, Levi Parker ranges, has it over to Slaughter covering, but he couldn't get there. That's going to be a single for Michael Burns. But the third and the fourth inning that Avery broadcasted on Wednesday night seemed to take like an hour and a half. It was forever, and here it just seems like you just got on there. But both teams are really, for the first time this season, we're seeing two starting pitchers really dominate.
I was feeling good. I just looked up, and we're in the fifth inning already here. Just a quick note, Matt Slaughter had retired the last 8 batters before that base hit for Michael Burns.
Burns has been a nuisance, though. He's 3 for 3 for Hayes. 2 singles, a double. He's scored a run, and he's stolen a base. And he's on there again over at first base. A well-placed seeing eye single through the right side. Parker made a good effort, but couldn't throw him out. So it's Matt Ludy up there. Ludy, a strikeout and a ground out. This is his third trip. Right back to Slaughter, off his glove, recovers, over to Oliver for one, and that was on the transfer. The ball came out. Oliver made the catch and was transferring, and it flipped up into the air. So it'll be a fielder's choice, but the leadoff guy, Speedy Michael Burns, is retired. 1-6, and that'll bring up shortstop Tyler Leffler. 3-0 Hayes. We're in the top half of the fifth inning, and really, Avery, big credit to Hayes. They did something that El Dorado's been doing to teams all week long, take advantage of opportunities. Burns led off the game with a double. Then Ludy and Leffler went down, 1 strikeout, 1 flyout. As here's a ground ball to third base as El backs up on it, strong arm over to first, and that will retire the side. Very quick innings here from El Dorado, but let's finish that thought, as we'll just keep it right here, as Hayes leads 3-0 as we're halfway through. But Detmer was down 0-2 to the count, and he got hit by a pitch eventually. After working at full, got hit by a pitch, and then Berginski came up and deposited one into over the left field wall, and that's where we're at right now. If Slaughter can execute a pitch and get Detmer, we could be looking at a 0-0 game here, but credit Hayes for taking advantage of the opportunity.
Well, and that's true, but we've got to give some credit to Matt Slaughter here. He's pitched a great game. Just one pitch he left hanging, and Berginski really took advantage of that. And like you said, just like that, it's 3-0. But other than that, these two teams have played scoreless, and Slaughter has pitched very well.
Avery, we had one other comment, and it's from a Hayes fan, and which is just fine with us.
It's outstanding.
David Cole is a left-hand pitcher for this Hayes Larks team. He's from Lake Elmo, Minnesota. Now, I know right where Lake Elmo is. That's up near White Bear Lake. If let's see, Lynn Cole emailed or commented. So, Lynn, am I right on that? Lake Elmo, Minnesota, I'm almost positive, is by White Bear Lake, where my aunt and uncle and cousins live, and I'm very familiar with that area. Anyway, she wanted to make mention that one of David's teammates from the Bradley Braves, Max Murphy, who was just drafted in the 9th round, and he was drafted by the Minnesota Twins. So that draft going on for 2 or 3 days, it seems like, but a lot of baseball talent is being deposited into the big leagues, and they'll, of course, start on single A and work their way up. Bottom of the 5th inning, and Izell bounces one up the middle. Coleman ranges fields. Casey Wolf is joined. I wanted her to come up here just for a moment. I'm not. She's a photographer. And we got to get her on the air here. Yeah, there you go. All right. We're going to talk to Casey for a moment. Cameron Knight is up, the catcher. Right-handed batter, and the first pitch from Fromson catches the outside corner, strike 1. Casey, now, folks, I kept on wondering, because I would see my post on the Facebook page for El Dorado as Here Comes Strike 2 tonight, and the only other person kind of posting up there was you, and I was looking at your photography of Bronco baseball, and it's just dynamite. As Knight lines one right at the second baseman for the second out. And I'm sure El Dorado Bronco fans have to be enjoying your photography. It's just outstanding. Tell us, where did you get this love for photography, and why are you doing all this great work?
Well, I've just always liked photography and stuff, but I mean,
Does baseball? Do you like filming any sport, or is baseball? Do you have a particular love for baseball?
baseball is my favorite sport to take pictures of.
How come?
Mainly because of this team, just the El Dorado Broncos in general, because when I was younger, we'd come up here all the time, and I just fell in love with the team when one year on my birthday, I had one of them sign a baseball for me when I was about 12 years old.
Fromson delivers. There's a strike from Levi, or Levi Parker fouls it off. Now, are you from El Dorado? Or from the area?
I'm from Leon, which is not very far from here.
Leon is not far from here. This stadium seems like a good venue for a photographer to get around and take photos. Have you found that to be the case?
Yeah, for the most part. It's pretty easy.
Are you given access? Do you get to go on the field at all, or have you talked with the manager at all, or the folks that run the squad?
I have been given access to go down to like the bullpen and stuff. I haven't been down there much yet, but I'm waiting for mainly a nicer night when it's not looks like it could start raining.
Now, are you here taking photos every home game, or as many as you can, or what can we expect from you this season?
Well, I'll be at every single one of their home games, most likely taking pictures at pretty much all their home games. There might be a few I don't, but.
Parker fouls off the 3-2 pitch. We'll do it again from Fromson. The photos are crystal clear, and I'm not sure if anyone's contacted you from Facebook or if they've even had thought to look there, but you post those photos each day, don't you?
Pretty much. Yes.
Are they? Can folks? How can folks get some of those? As Parker works himself a 2-out walk here, are those for sale? Are they just for show? What if a parent sees something he or she likes and they want to get some?
I am working on putting together some packets with someone else around here, and we're going to get some information out to the parents and fans and stuff about purchasing pictures if they want any.
Your photos, it looks like you just go snap, 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 and you just get the full, it's almost like a movie, and it's so sharp and crisp. Do you just stand back and look at your photography and ooh and ah a little bit? Because it is delightful, or is it one of those things that you just it's just, old hat to you?
There are some of the pictures that I don't even know how I get that. It just happens.
Okay, now tell me now. I'm a wannabe great photographer, but my problem is, like if I'm at a baseball game, I can't watch it through just the viewfinder. I've got to look here. But by the time a diving play or something happens, there's no way I can get it up there. Do you just keep the camera? Are you following the ball? How do you get such great shots?
I just pretty much, I'm mainly watching the game. I just happen to just get my camera up in time most of the time for the play. I mean, you can usually tell which direction, once the player hits the ball, you can usually tell which direction it's going. I'll aim it towards the player that the ball's going towards. But
so all those games as a kid coming to has paid off because you know what to expect and you can read kind of where the batter and where the fielders are going and everything.
Yeah.
Do you like? Is there anything in particular like base runners or fielders or pitchers? I know you took some great pictures of some of the pitchers the other night. Do you have a certain preference or?
I like taking pictures of the pitchers and stuff because I mean it's mainly I like looking at all the different facial expressions they'll make during different pitches. But I like taking pictures of them when they're batting and stuff too because I like it when I can get it when the ball's directly hitting the bat.
And that's so I always gaze at people in basketball when they get the picture of the ball hitting the floor when they're dribbling because it almost looks like the ball is flat. And baseball's the same way. If you can get that, it just almost looks like they're hitting a mush ball if you hit it just right. Yeah. Now I want to see the other night. I don't know if you got any of the photos. We saw our first broken bats of the season. We saw a couple of them. Were you able to get any of those bats splintering?
Not really because
Darn.
I wasn't really taking pictures when that happened.
Morgan Oliver is at the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We're visiting with Casey Wolf. It's her photography that you see on the El Dorado Bronco Baseball Facebook page that is just so eye-catching. Here's the 2-2. Oliver with a check swing, and we're full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. And that means Levi Parker will be on the move here. And over at first base, Matt Ludi is not going to hold him on now. Anything in the gap here from Oliver could score Levi Parker, who walked just a moment ago. Oliver from Central Michigan University in the right-handed batter's box. Fromson's pitch is hit to right field, and that is going deep down to the track, off the wall. Here comes Parker. He will score, and Morgan Oliver with a 2-out RBI double, and by far the best, really the best struck ball by a Bronco tonight, and it's no surprise that it's Morgan Oliver who comes up with the play, and Dylan Muka will be up next. So, Casey, again, we look forward to seeing more of your photography. I just love looking at those photos, and I'm so glad that I have found you and your photos through Facebook, and invite fans of the Broncos and fans of the Larks as well to take a look at your pictures throughout the weekend. Thank you very much for joining us. Casey's she is a photographer. This broadcasting thing isn't really maybe what she was expecting to get into tonight. Here's a base hit from Muka. Morgan Oliver will score, and Muka will head on down to second base. Thanks again. So another 2-out RBI single. This time it's Dylan Muka, and Morgan Oliver scores, and Muka took second on the throw to home. So a single for Muka. And just like that, as we have grown to know and love, Avery, these Broncos battle as they're gonna be a visit to the mound by pitching coach Keith Harper. But no surprise that it's Morgan Oliver. Credit Parker, first of all, for getting the 2-out walk, but then, with Morgan Oliver up, runner in scoring position. No, not in scoring position, but 2 outs. He delivers, and then Muka comes up and brings in Oliver.
And I don't know about you, but I wasn't expecting the Broncos to score this whole game. They're one of those teams that once they get down, they're almost better. They're one of those teams that, they can play from behind and come back and win these games. We've seen it do it a couple times already this season, and right now I'm not even in surprised that they're back in this game. A couple big base hits from Muka and Oliver, and the Broncos only down by 1 now.
We saw this Bronco team on opening night fall behind. They jumped out 2-0, then fell behind 7-2, and then they won 8-7 on opening night. And then night number 2, they decided to get behind 4-0, and they came back and won that game as well. And you're right, when this team gets a little adversity, as Clayton Dalrymple steps up, 3-2 our score. I think back even to Wednesday, and you might be thinking, what Wednesday? That was a 22-8 win. There was some drama there because El Dorado was up 7-1, and Derby scored 4 runs to make it 7-5, and they had things going their way. And El Dorado, still in the lead, but they buckled down, and they really, in the next 2 innings, put that game away, and just kind of went through the motions the last couple innings, I felt.
And Jake Fromson, the pitcher for the Larks right now, starting to pay a little bit more attention to Muka on second base, and I think he maybe gotten a little rattled here after a couple of base hits, a couple of runs, and now Fromson's really got to focus and try and get Clayton Dalrymple out.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Dalrymple drives one to center field, and that is going to be caught. Just not carrying, not a lot of wind, but what wind there is blowing in. Clayton didn't quite square that one up, but nice to see the Broncos show some life here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. They scored 2 times on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left. We're through 5. Hayes 3, El Dorado 2. More play-by-play coming up. You're watching and listening to El Dorado Bronco Baseball here on YouTube. And welcome back here to McDonald Stadium, Brad Longfield, and what looks like it's going to be a really fun three-game series with the Hayes Larks. The Larks leading the Broncos 3-2. El Dorado coming into this game undefeated, 4-0 and 1-0 in Jayhawk League play. And big thanks to Casey Wolf, who we chuckle a little bit being where we are. The Kansas City Chiefs mascot is named K.C. Wolf. Now, the Casey Wolf we just spoke with, it's Kaysi. But we chuckle a little bit. I'm sure she's heard it before. She's she's kind of a sports fan, it looks like. Anyway, the Broncos are within one, but thanks to Casey Wolf and thanks to the Hayes parents that have been emailing us, and all of you listening in tonight, feel free to drop us an email or a comment. We'd love to hear from you. We enter into the top of the sixth inning. The Broncos trail by one, and here's Avery Osen.
Matt Slaughter still on the mound for the Broncos as he delivers ball one to Ty Detmer, the designated hitter. He's 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. As he hammers one down the third base line, but it's foul, and that'll even up the count at 1-1. Again, if you want to drop us an email, cadenbroadcasting with a C at gmail.com. Again, cadenbroadcasting at gmail.com, or even easier, just comment right underneath this video, and you can comment. We'd love to hear who you're listening for, who you are, and where you're listening from. And we just, it's outstanding to see, especially those people listening from Hayes, or not from Hayes, but for Hayes. We invite you here as we will be broadcasting all three games of this series here from McDonald Stadium in El Dorado. Slaughter's pitch. Grounded to Azell at third base as he throws a strike right on over to Brandon Cuddy in out number one here in the top of the sixth. Broncos put up 2 runs in the bottom of the fifth to get right back in this game as they trail by 1. Now up, Derek Berginski. He had a home run, 3-run home run back in the first inning, which is the difference in this game right now. Slaughter's first pitch of this at-bat is just a little inside for ball 1. Berginski grounded out to the shortstop, back in the third inning, as he hits one down the left field line, and strike 1. One pitch, 1 out here in the top of the sixth. Matt's throw, hit sky high, out to center field. Dylan Muka under it and makes the play for out number 2. Now Tanner Deviney, who is behind the plate. That's where he spends his time, as he's the catcher. He's 0 for 1 tonight. He's 11. We need to get some of those pitchers up here sometime during that 50-50 drawing, and the ball is hit down the line and fouled. They even up the count at 1-1. That was pretty fun hearing from Landon Bush and getting his thoughts on this young season. Hearing how the team bonds here outside. I'm glad to hear it's not just they are getting along on the field. Sounds like they have pretty good chemistry off the field as well.
Yeah, and it's just fun to visit with these college guys and to get them on the air, and it's always fun when they get a headset on. I know we're not CBS or ESPN or anything like that, but you know what? There's folks out there watching and listening, whether it be live or on the archive. But you know what? It's a fun deal to, I think, get on here, and they're very respectful, I think, of media, and it's fun to hear, what their experiences are like, because we don't know. I mean, a lot of these guys, they have host families. What a huge thing here in El Dorado for these people to open up their homes for a couple of months for these guys and build relationships, which is a neat thing.
It really is. Here is El Dorado. Great town for it. It seems like a very community-based town, as there's a lot of people here at tonight's game. 1-2 pitch from Slaughter is off speed, and he gets Tanner DeVinny to strike out, and the Larks go 1-2-3 in the top of the 6th. We'll get some more comments from Kurt here as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Hayes 3, El Dorado 2, Broncos, Cuddy, Schmidt, Spring. Good part of the lineup coming up as Broncos baseball continues here on YouTube.
Your vehicle has been judged the dirtiest car in the parking lot. Blackburn Construction owns 3 car washes in El Dorado, the one north of us at Vine and 6th Street, also one out on West Central. And we have 222 West Central, 622 North Vine, and 1350 North Main. If 251 GEE is your vehicle, come up and get a couple car wash tokens, courtesy of Blackburn Construction Car Washes. Just come up to the open window right here and claim the tokens.
Jake Fromson back on the hill for the Larks here as he gets ready to pitch the bottom of the 6th inning. And his team leads 3-2. Not a better player than, or a hotter player here coming up, Brandon Cuddy. He's 0 for 2 tonight, but he was 5 for 6 Wednesday night. And a big reason for those 22 runs put up by the Broncos. He's a left-handed batter as the umpire calls time. Fromson's first pitch of this bottom of the 6th inning. In there on the inside corner for strike 1. 0-1 to Cuddy.
Little League Sports Videos. I'm not sure who that is. It's a company, but they are Hayes fans, and they are watching and listening tonight. So thank you for letting us know where you're, we don't know where they're at, but we know who they're rooting for, which is great. Avery and I are new to the league. We know the El Dorado players better, but as we get a ground ball here to first base.
And Fromson receives the toss from Ludi, and 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th.
But I was going to say, we love baseball. We try to get to a few Royals games, as many as we can. We watch it nonstop. We get that extra innings package. We watch nonstop baseball. We love the game. And so, yes, we're covering El Dorado, and that's the team we want to see win. But really, it's just fun seeing, here's college guys. These guys aren't getting paid. And they're out here battling, and it's fun to watch them play.
As Jonathan Schmidt's pop fly in the infield, that's caught by Ludi. For out number 2. And that'll bring up right fielder Jacob Spring. So if Bromson can escape this inning with no damage, it's pretty good here, as that was really the heart of the lineup here. Cuddy, Schmitz, and now Spring. Next pitch, or the first pitch in this at bat from Fromson, low for a strike.
Tell you what, we've seen 2 really good starting pitchers here tonight. Give Fromson credit. I mean, El Dorado put 2 on the board in the last inning. They started squaring some balls up, but Fromson has come down, like you said, 3, 4, 5. And folks, the Hayes fans, they're seeing Cuddy for the first time. We're seeing him for the second time, but he was awesome here Wednesday, and Schmidt was awesome here on Sunday night. And Fromson went right through those guys with a ground out to first and a pop out to first on the heels of giving up 2 runs and a couple of hits last inning.
Thompson really getting in a groove here in the bottom of the sixth. 1-2 pitch is swung on down the left field line. Foul ball. That'll keep the count at 1-2. Yeah, like Kurt said, two really good pitchers here. Slaughter just gave up that one three-run home run in the first inning. Other than that, he's thrown, 5 shutout innings. His 1-2 pitch also fouled back off the screen. And then Thompson gave up 2 runs with 2 outs in the fifth inning. But other than that, it looks like he's going to have his own 5 scoreless innings. Next pitch. Fly to center field, and that's an easy catch from Michael Burns. And the Broncos go 1-2-3 here in the bottom of the sixth. As we are done with 6, Broncos trail 3-2. But more Broncos baseball coming up here from McDonald Stadium in El Dorado.
Northwood College, number 11, Colt Weiner.
So new pitcher into the game for the Broncos, Colt Weiner from Northwood College. He is from Plano, Texas. First batter from Hayes is Weiner will face the 7, 8, 9 hole here in the top of the 7th. First pitch from him is a little low as he faces Evan Gruner, who is 0 for 2 and 2 strikeouts. One-zero pitch, fouled. That'll even the count at 1-1. Kurt, you have, we can close the books on Matt Slaughter.
6 innings pitched for Slaughter. He gave up 4 hits, 3 runs, all earned. He had 6 strikeouts, walked just 1 man, and hit 1 man.
Good curveball from Weiner. Gets ahead of Gruner at 1-2.
And both that walk and hit batsman came in the first inning. And after the first inning, for the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, just 2 hits allowed by Slaughter, as he allowed 4 batters, 3 batters, 3 batters, 4 batters, and 3. I mean, he was very efficient after a rough first inning, which he had a chance of getting out. He had 2 outs and 1 on and an 0-2 count on Ty Detmer, and it got away from him.
Count goes full here on Gruner, and this could very easily, Kurt, be a 2-0 game. Like you said, Slaughter just hit Detmer in the first inning, and then Berginski comes in and hits a 3-run home run, as Weiner will walk the first batter he sees here in this game. So the Larks with a man on first and nobody out. That'll bring up Zaire Coman, the second baseman, who is also 0 for 2 in this one.
And Avery, you're much better at Twitter than I am, and I do Twitter during the day. I'm not very good with Twitter on my phone, but I got a direct quote from, or a comment, I guess would that be a direct comment, from H.D.N. McQueen, who is a Hayes fan, and it's Koyman. So we were close.
Koyman, okay.
Koyman. So thank you very much.
That's Zaire right now, right?
Yes.
Koyman, okay.
Koyman.
So Koyman will watch ball one, and like I said, that's great use of social media there, just letting us know, and
it's amazing what you can do, and I like putting it on there, getting it on Twitter, and putting that we got the games coming up, and several Hayes folks have either retweeted it or favorited it or are watching tonight, and we're so glad that we can get corrected, and because we want to get it right, and we're happy for the folks for letting us know what's going on here.
So Koyman evens up the count with a foul ball, 1-1. He looks like messes with his batting gloves, and he steps in the batter's box. Right-handed batter, Zaire Koyman. Weiner's pitch, and Koyman hits one down the right field line. He's got extra bases. Here comes Gruner. He's going to be waved home. Not a great throw from Jacob Spring in right field, so they'll have no chance to get Gruner at home, and it's a stand-up triple for Zaire Koyman. And Hayes extends their lead now, and they lead 4-2.
On our webcam, you probably lost that ball because we don't have it all the way down to the right field wall, but Koyman hit that maybe just a foot or two inside of that first base line, and he really stung it good. And Spring playing well off the line there, Avery. Koyman can really fly. We did see Spring and Parker execute a great relay the other night to throw a man out at second. That time, not so good as you described. And now big trouble here for El Dorado, trailing by 2.
Ball hit to Parker at second. He'll make the out at first, but not before Koyman can score. And now the Larks lead 5-2. That was Kevin Zarnicki who grounded out to Parker. And that'll bring the Larks to the top of their lineup in Michael Burns. First pitch in there, strike one from Weiner.
You know, you could argue Coach Gerwick there didn't play his infield in. I don't think it would have mattered on that play there. But, we're in the top of the 7th inning, but shows faith in his offense that they can allow they were going to let that runner score to get the out.
As Michael Burns puts one right in front of Dylan Muka for a base hit, and that'll bring up Matt Ludi.
Burns has been pretty good tonight, Avery. 4 for 4, I've got him down for.
Yep, 4 for 4. A double, 3 base hits, a run scored, and a stolen base.
Not a bad night.
As Chad Gerwick will make his way out to the pitcher's mound to talk to Weiner.
Weiner was pretty effective the other night, but so far tonight, a walk, a triple, a RBI groundout, and a single. And again, it just when you walk leadoff men, especially in a 3-2 game, and you're getting into the latter parts of the game, it seems like you pay more attention to those leadoff walks later in the game, and they always seem to come back and haunt you. And that's what's happened here tonight. Is I think it's Kennedy down in the Bronco bullpen warming up. We've seen him each of the first 4 games for El Dorado, and he is warming up in a hurry. So Weiner will face the left-handed batter Ludi here, but this may be his last hitter.
Lefty on lefty matchup. Burns on first. First pitch from Weiner. Little outside ball 1. One-0 delivery. Inside, ball 2. 2-0. 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Larks lead 5-2. Michael Burns on first base. Brandon Cuddy holding him on. Next pitch, that one's right down the middle for strike 1. Moody still has the advantage, up 2-1 in this count. Ludi 0 for 3 tonight.
Avery, last time we saw Colt Weiner was Sunday night against Denver. He went 1 inning, didn't allow a hit. He had 2 strikeouts, so he was very sharp on Sunday. That has not been the case here tonight, and give the Hayes hitters, they've been very good tonight. even with good pitching from El Dorado. They've it may sound kind of crazy. There's 5 runs on 6 hits, but they've battled a lot of long counts.
Yep. Taxing these pitchers as Weiner evens up the count with a good curveball, 2-2. Next pitch. Hit him between first and second base. It's a single for Ludi. So a 2-strike base hit, and that'll bring up Tyler Leffler.
And as expected, Avery, Coach Gerwick coming out to the mound. Looks like we're going to be seeing Mr. Kennedy here in just a moment.
Hayes leads 5-2. We'll let Kennedy get warmed up as we take a break. Broncos trail by 3 here in the top of the 7th inning.
For attention, please, for the Broncos now pitching from Michigan University, number 14, Joe Kennedy.
Joe Kennedy takes the hill here, and he'll relieve Weiner with 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Kurt, you got a quick weather report for us?
I don't know any details, but I know when you see reds and pinks on a radar, that means pretty heavy rain. Not close to El Dorado yet, but right over Pratt is a strong line of storms.
As Michael Burns steals third base, so runners on first and third.
That had to be on his own. Usually, if you're going to steal, it'd be a double steal with first and second. But Burns got an excellent jump off of Kennedy, and he'll take third base with 1 away, first and third here in the top of the 7th.
Kennedy did get the strike there, 0-1. Next pitch, just a little inside for ball 1. Evens up the count at 1-1.
And we're not professional meteorologists, but we can tell a squall line when it's on its way. And there is one with a lot of rain, which is kind of a good bad thing. I'll tell you in a second.
Kennedy looked like pretty close there, but ball 2.
You hate to argue about rain. There's so much drought going on in south central Kansas, but you still want to get the games in. And this outfield, unfortunately, if it takes a lot of rain here tonight, it's going to be tough to get a game tomorrow, and they're expecting fairly heavy rain tonight, overnight, and early morning tomorrow. And it's not like the major leagues. I mean, it's Doug Bell here, the general manager, and a few others that will try to get the outfield in working shape. But
and I'm sure they don't, but I don't see any tarps or anything. I know some fields have those tarps for their grass outfields or whatnot, or infields. Don't see one here. Kennedy, 3-1 pitch in there for strike 2. But make sure for tomorrow's game, you keep checking the El Dorado Broncos Facebook page for updates on whether the game is a go or not, and we will also be, if there is a game, we'll be having the link there to watch as well. Next pitch, found down the third base line. That'll keep the count full at 3-2. Tyler Leffler up for the Larks. He is 0 for 3. Runners on first and third, 1 out. Kennedy trying to get out of this jam. Next pitch, just off home plate, and a good throw from Kennedy, but the umpire doesn't give. And the bases are loaded for Ty Detmer. Detmer 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored back in the first inning. Kennedy, right-handed pitch. Good off-speed pitch in there for strike 1. A 1 pitch just outside. Good catch there from Cameron Knight. And that evens up the count at 1-1. 1 out. Bases loaded. 5-2 Hayes. Next pitch. Foul. Looks like Detmer found that ball off his foot. He appears to be fine. 1-2. The base runner is only getting about a 1 or 2 step lead. Nothing too dangerous here at the bases loaded. 1-2 pitch. Low. Inside. And I'll leave it up the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Top of the 7th inning. 1 out. Ty Detmer standing in the right-handed batter's box. The pitch. Skied out to center field. Muka standing under it. He'll throw one home. And it'll be cut off.
Bases runs really well, Avery, and they weren't going to get him, and Cuddy didn't want to let the runners first or second advance, so he got 2 away, down 6-2, and now you have to go to work with Berginski, who had the big 3-run homer back in the first.
Yes, he did. 0 for 2 since, though. 2 outs. Yellow pitch in there, strike 1. Joe Kennedy, the pitcher for the Broncos right now. 0-1 pitch, fouled. Kennedy jumps right ahead on Berginski. 0-2. Berginski, as Kurt said, had a home run back in the first. 3-run blast it was. 0-2 pitch. In there as he hits one of the gap. Muka trying to run it down, and he does on the warning track. Has a big out recorded by the Broncos. That'll keep the game at 6-2. Hayes leading. It's stretch time here at McDonald Stadium. Broncos trail by 4. They come up to bat here in the bottom of the 7th. More El Dorado Broncos from McDonald Stadium. Coming up. So now Nate Ollinger relieves Jake Fromson in this game for the Hayes Larks. And now coming up to the bat for the Broncos, 6-7-8 hole, Trevor Azell, Cameron Knight, and Levi Parker look to go to work against relief pitcher Nate Ollinger. And the Broncos, I would say, Kurt, have been pretty good against relief pitchers this year so far.
They'll start off with a lefty-lefty here. Fromson Avery, a nice night. 6 innings pitched, gave up 5 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned, 3 strikeouts, and just 1 walk in 6 innings, which is such a contrast from what we saw here Wednesday night from Derby. Fromson let his defense go to work for him, and just 3 strikeouts as well. He was around the plate and very effective.
And it's one of those things as Ollinger jumps out to an 0-2 count. Obviously, the big problem is walks put people on base, but also when pitchers are walking batters, as Ollinger's next pitch just outside, your defenders behind you, that really puts a tax on them whenever they're sitting there, and it makes that game go much longer when pitchers are walking players. And Ollinger misses low, ball 2, and it'll even up the count. But it really speeds up the game, and I'm sure you're an infielder. That really helps whenever your pitcher's dealing and making the game go a little faster. Really keeps you focused.
Keeps you on your toes, and really it's nice. You know, you watch the major leagues and you see pitchers kind of walk around the mound after each pitch. Pretty much all the pitchers we've seen in the league, and even from the Walter Johnson League, they get the ball back from the catcher and they're ready to go.
As Trevor Azell watches strike 3, he was down 0-2 in that count, worked it back up to 3-2, but he strikes out watching. That'll bring up Cameron Knight here in this bottom of the 7th inning. Cameron Knight 0 for 2. First pitch from Ollinger is fouled as Knight just a little late on that fastball. Starts off the count at 0-1. 6-2 Hayes. They put a 3 spot up in the top of the 1st and a 3 spot up in the top of the 7th. Next pitch, swung on and missed. And Ollinger, for the 2nd straight batter, jumps out 0-2. Very good showing of community of El Dorado fans supporting their Broncos here tonight on a Friday night as Ollinger throws one into the turf, 1-2. But
City of El Dorado night, Freddy's frozen custard night.
I was gonna say, can you blame them free ice cream before this one, or free frozen
yogurt?
yogurt?
Yeah, that's what it is.
I'm gonna have to say we helped ourselves to a cup before first pitch here tonight. Ollinger throws one as Knight fouls it off to the right side. I'm sure you lost that in your screen. But Matt Ludy catches the ball right beside the dugout of the Hayes Larks. And 2 outs. Levi Parker steps up to the plate for the Broncos.
Had one of our fans listening, wondering during the 7th inning stretch, take me out to the ball game. They heard a dog barking. Might have been someone we know very well, but one of the host families who was here. They have their lab. I believe it's a lab But amazingly, I'm not sure if it was on cue or what, but as the seventh inning stretch was Take Me Out to the Ball Game was being sung, the dog was barking right along as if it was singing.
Very smart.
That was pretty good, wasn't it? It really was.
And 2-1 here to Levi Parker.
Vicky Bell told us that dog is the team mascot. It's got a scarf, an El Dorado Broncos scarf that it'll wear.
As Ollinger hits the outside corner, evens up the count 2-2, 2 outs.
We're still learning all the traditions here at El Dorado.
Of course, 5 games in, we got a lot to learn, but it's awfully fun. 2-2. And Ollinger goes 1-2-3 as he strikes out Levi Parker to retire the 7th inning and retire the Broncos 1-2-3. As we head to the top of the 8th, the Larks 6, Broncos 2. More baseball from McDonald Stadium coming up. You're watching El Dorado Broncos baseball here on YouTube.
If you drove a Chevy Trailblazer that has been watching for a while and has the pin license plate 251 GEE, come claim your car wash token courtesy of Black Car Washes, 2200 West Central. Have a clean car. Your attention, please, for the Broncos now Carroll State University number 34, Quay Adams.
Hayes leads here 6-2 as we approach the top of the 8th inning. Quade Adams, new pitcher for the Broncos, as he gets ready to deal. And for us to finish the game, 8th and 9th inning, Kurt Caden.
Thank you, Avery. Top of the 8th inning for the Larks. They lead this one 6-2, and it'll be Tanner DeVinny, the catcher, to lead it off against Quade Adams. Adams, a right-handed pitcher. His first pitch is in there for a strike. No balls and a strike to DeVinny, and the pitch rifled over to Morgan Oliver. He takes it on 2 skips, fires over to first base, and the first out is recorded. And that makes DeVinny 0 for 3 on the night with 1 walk. That'll bring up Evan Gruner, the left fielder. He bats 7th in the lineup. He is 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts. He walked in the 7th inning and came around and scored on Zaire Koyman's triple. First pitch from Adams is a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. From the stretch, Quade Adams delivers the ball, and it's ball 2. 3 runs back in the top of the 7th inning for Hayes to turn a 3-2 game into a 6-2 lead. 2-0 pitch is in there for a strike. Weiner went 1/3 of an inning, gave up 3 hits and 3 runs, and walked a man. Kennedy came in and put out the fire, went 2/3 of an inning, walked 1, but no hits allowed and no runs allowed. Detmer's sacrifice fly scored Burns, but that run is charged to Weiner. And now it's Adams here in the 8th inning. 6-2 in favor of Hayes. And the 2-2, I should say, is low in ball 3. You might remember On opening night a week ago, Hayesville was up 7-2 going into the 8th inning, and El Dorado scored 4 in the 8th and 2 in the 9th to win an exciting game, 8-7. But Adams walks Gruner. And again, Avery, not trying to beat a dead horse here, but again, when these Lark batters get to 0-2, they're very disciplined. They don't go chasing. They protect. And more often than not, they've been able to draw a walk or even get hit by a pitch.
Just like Gruner did there, is he gets on with a walk for the second straight inning.
Modest lead over at first. Koyman up to the plate, and he'll look at ball one. Koyman 1 for 3 tonight. Flew out to left field. He struck out, then he tripled, driving in Gruner, and then would later score on a ground out by Zarnicki. The 1-0 pitch, a little better lead this time from Gruner, and a fastball is in tight, ball 2. We saw Adams pitch here on Wednesday night against Derby. It was an interesting night for Quaid. He went 1 inning, didn't give up a hit, but he walked 3, and he struck out 2. Didn't allow any runs, but he made it interesting. 2-0 pitch, good swing from Koyman, but he fouled it off towards the Hayes dugout on the first base side.
Just last inning, Gruner began the inning with a walk, and then Koyman came up, stand-up RBI triple.
Yeah, really kind of got things going there, and Koyman eventually scored, and Burns, who's 4 for 4, singled and scored as well. The 2-1 pitch to Zaire Koyman. And Koyman waiting too long, he'll call for time. El Dorado scored 3 in the top of the first on a Berginski 3-run home run. El Dorado trimmed it to 1 with a 2-run 5th inning, but 3 in the top of the 7th for Hayes has stretched it out to 6-2. And Gruner running, Koyman hitting, hit and run. Gruner slides into second. He's not aware. The ball's caught out in center field by Muka. Throws it to first base, but offline. And Gruner catches his breath as he makes it back to first base. No harm done. A foul fly out to Dylan Muka. And that's the second out of the inning. And that'll bring up the third baseman, Kevin Zarnicki. Zarnicki 0 for 3 with an RBI. Grounded out to Morgan Oliver, flew out to Muka, and grounded out to Levi Parker. But that ground out back in the 7th inning brought home Koyman. So 2 away. We're in the top of the 8th inning. 6-2, Hayes. Zarnicki up, and Evan Gruner back at first base as the Larks did a hit and run. Koyman flew it out to center field. Gruner never picked the ball up. Here's a ground ball over to Levi Parker, flips it over to Oliver, and that's the end of the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 man left on base. We're through 7.5. Larks 6, Broncos 2. More play-by-play in a moment. You're watching and listening to El Dorado Bronco Baseball on YouTube.
Your total contributions were $139. The winner takes home $59.50. All for holding red ticket number 846. 846 so far. 2 9 9 846 299. If you have that ticket, come see me. I'm in the middle window of the press box. Come right up the steps. Again, ticket 846 299. Your winnings tonight are $59.50. Thank you for playing 50-50 with the El Dorado Broncos. That's it. Thank you.
And welcome back here to the bottom of the 8th inning. Some folks, of course, you and I do a lot of radio and whatnot, Avery, work with radio stations. So you would imagine, dead air isn't something we like, but here we're just on the internet. We don't really have anything to play. So that's why excuse me, after each half inning, there's nothing. My mom even said, "Boy, you guys don't ever talk in between." Well, we just can't fill every half inning, so we just kind of let you listen to some of the chirpings and sounds of the stadium. And again, it's not how we would do it if we were on a radio station or something. You'd have commercials or public service announcements or something, but it's early in our stages here. Hopefully we can improve on that as Morgan Oliver fouls one high and deep down the past the El Dorado Bronco bullpen. But you and I are, we're not fans of dead air, but that's kind of what we have to do right now.
Yeah. So if you don't hear anything and you're just tuning in, we'll be back. Just wait until the half inning starts again.
Morgan Oliver, the number 9 hitter, facing Nate Ollinger. And Ollinger very good in his 7th inning of work, had 2 strikeouts and a foul out to retire the side in order. Oliver ahead 2-1. Ollinger's pitch is just inside, ball 3.
And Kurt, I think it's key here for the Broncos to at least get 1 run. Right now they're down by 4 runs in the bottom of the 8th. At least get 1 run, even 2 runs would be great, just to cut that deficit just a little bit so they don't have to make up as much in the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah, you're down to your final 6 outs here. Really got to make them count. Ollinger's pitch. Oliver hits one, a 2-hopper out to Leffler at shortstop. He whistles one over to first and retires Morgan Oliver. And again, big contrast, obviously, from Wednesday night, where most of the Broncos got at least 5 or 6 plate appearances. They're just turning the order around for the 4th time, and I think it was the 4th inning when they did this on Wednesday night. So again, much better pitching from Hayes tonight than what we saw Wednesday with Derby. Dylan Muka, the center fielder, lefty on lefty, and he'll look at ball 1. Not a bad night here for Dylan Muka, who made his debut here Wednesday night, and he is in the leadoff position, and he's 2 for 3 with an RBI. Muka gets under this one and flares it out to left field, and that will be hauled in by Evan Gruner. And I'll tell you what, the center fielder out there, Michael Burns, who's got good speed and really reads the ball well, as many grass outfields, you'll see holes where outfielders kind of traditionally stand, and it's kind of worn out. You can see where that grass is worn out. Well, Burns goes against he plays way in front of where it's kind of worn out there. He plays a very shallow center field, and I guess he's almost daring guys. And one of the hardest things to hit is to square it and hit it to straight center field. So it's really not a bad plan by Burns, and he's reads the ball well off the bat, and tell you what, that takes away a lot of those little flares that end up for base hits that land over shortstop or second base.
And on the other side of his game with the bat, he's 4 for 4 tonight. He'll have a chance to extend it to 5-5 in the top of the 9th. He'll be the leadoff batter.
Dalrymple pops one out to right field, and a nice running grab made by Berginski, and the Broncos go 1, 2, 3 in the 8th. We're through 8 innings. Hayes 6, El Dorado 2. The 9th inning is coming up in just a moment as you watch and listen to El Dorado Bronco baseball. Had my future what was being predicted. As I hit the actual, what's happened, still some pretty good rain, but it's not even to Pratt yet. So it looks like we're going to be just fine getting this game in, although there's just looks like there's a shower going on right now just north and west of El Dorado. So may have caught a break there, just missing that rain shower, but El Dorado proper will probably get hit by some rain, as much as South Central Kansas will throughout the night and into the morning. But it looks like we should have no problem getting all of this game in, which is something you and I were worried about coming up here. Weren't sure if it was going to be worth our trip, but it certainly has been. We've seen a nicely played baseball game between two good squads, the Hayes Larks and the El Dorado Broncos. Burns, the leadoff hitter, grounds one to Oliver. He stays down on it, takes a couple steps, fires over to first base, and Michael Burns is retired for the first time tonight. And that'll bring up first baseman Matt Ludy. Watching Morgan Oliver out at shortstop, Avery, we've seen him make the spectacular plays, but what I find even more impressive is he makes the routine plays so far look very routine.
Yeah, he has, some of those plays, fielders can get a little lazy whenever it's just an easy ground ball to you. Maybe don't put your glove all the way down and it pops off it or even goes under your glove. And like you said, we haven't seen any of that from Morgan Oliver so far.
1-0 pitch from Adams is a strike to Ludy. It's always fun to make the spectacular diving play or leaping play or whatnot, but it's, if you can make more of the routine plays, you're going to be just fine. And that's what Morgan Oliver is, very solid at shortstop for these Broncos. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 away here in the top of the ninth, and that pitch just a bit outside. Same two teams here tomorrow night, 7 p.m. We'll have the call for you. I should say I'll have the call tomorrow night, and then Avery will rejoin me on Sunday night for the conclusion of this 3-game series. There's a room service fly ball out to Dalrymple for the second out of the inning. And then it's been an interesting week for El Dorado. More home games than road games scheduled. The Tuesday game at Hayesville didn't get played because there was no umpires. And then we got a good rain Wednesday night, and the field was so wet in Wellington they were unable to play the game Thursday night at Wellington. So all of the Broncos games so far in this young season have been right here at beautiful McDonald Stadium. First pitch to Tyler Leffler is high, ball 1. But the Broncos will be on the road after this 3-game series with Hayes. We'll run down what's coming up for them here in just a second. The 1-0 pitch to Leffler is in there for a strike. So after the 3-game series with Hayes, a trip to Newton on Tuesday. We're back home Wednesday night for Derby, and then a 5-game road trip, 3 games in Liberal, a trip to Wellington, and a trip to Derby before Wellington comes here on June 19th. And that Wellington game starts the beginning of a 6-game homestand, which will start and conclude with Wellington, includes 3 with Dodge City and 1 with Boulder. June 27th, 28th, and 29th, these Broncos will head out to Hayes. Leffler was just ticked by that pitch, and so he'll take first base with a HBP. So that's kind of a look at what's going on the rest of this month for the Broncos.
Looking into the bottom of the ninth here, Broncos right now down by 4. I would be surprised if the Broncos come back, but on the same side of that, we've seen the Broncos do it before. They had a big inning just 1 week ago tonight against Hayesville. Came back. I don't know, they were down 3 or 4 in the ninth in that game. Ended up coming back and winning. So the Broncos have it in them to come back.
1 ball, no strikes to the number 4 batter, Ty Detmer. And his at-bat is looking like the real key at-bat of this game, really. With 2 out and 1 on in the first inning. He was down, no balls and 2 strikes. Eventually worked it full and then got hit in the shoulder. He took first base. The very next pitch was deposited by Berginski over the left field wall. The 2-0 pitch from Adams is fouled off. 2 balls and a strike. So Detmer hit by a pitch and scored in the first, struck out in the third. He grounded out to third in the 6th inning, and he had a sacrifice fly in the 7th inning, scoring Burns. Leffler is over at first base. He was hit by a pitch, 2 away in the top of the 9th inning. Quade Adams' pitch, and that is spiked in front of Cameron Knight. No way to stop that one, and it'll be a wild pitch. And Leffler will take second base. So now Detmer with a runner in scoring position. The Broncos 4-0 coming into this game, 1-0 in league play. They have to come up with a big 9th inning, though, to keep their record unscathed. Quade Adams to the belt, takes a long look at second, and now the pitch. And Leffler drills one to left field. Dalrymple going back to the wall, leaps, but he can't get it. It's over the fence for a home run for Ty Detmer. Might have said Leffler there. Was Detmer to left field for Hayes. A 2-run home run for Ty Detmer. And that'll bring up Berginski. The runs in the first inning came with 2 outs for Hayes, and the runs here in the 9th inning coming with 2 outs. Berginski 1 for 4. He lines one. Levi Parker snares it out of the air, and that ends the top of the 9th. But damage done. Ty Detmer, a 2-run home run. And we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Hayes on the rail, 8-2. The bottom of the 9th inning coming up after just a few moments of peacefulness here. We'll have more play-by-play in a moment here on YouTube.
Don't forget, Bronco fans, the series continues tomorrow night with a 7 o'clock game here at McDonald's Stadium, and concludes Sunday night again at 7 o'clock. The games tomorrow night in Payne and Sunday night, 7 o'clock here at McDonald's Stadium.
So welcome back here. Kurt Caden along with Avery Osen, your broadcast team for all home games for the El Dorado Broncos. And just a reminder, of course, we've been telling our El Dorado fans this all week long, Avery, on our home games, but for the Hayes fans as well, not too long after this game is over, the game will be archived, audio and video. So if you're watching your son and you want them to, if they want to go back and take a look as the leadoff batter, Jeff, flares one down the third base line, and it's fair for Brandon Cuddy. A good start to the 9th inning, but the games are archived, so you can go back and watch them as many times as you like.
You want to see your son get that strikeout or make that play, hit that home run, you can go back and watch it as many times as you would like to. And that is an awesome thing that we don't have to do anything. It just archives by itself, which is the best way. Has a good hit from Brandon Cuddy and a good job by him not to try to extend that to a double, because the Broncos right now just need base runners down by 6 or in the bottom of the 9th, no out.
First hit allowed by Nate Ollinger. Jonathan Schmidt steps up. He is 1 for 3 tonight, singled back in the 4th inning. Right-handed batter Schmitz looking at the left-hand delivery from Ollinger, and it's called a strike. Cuddy down at first base, and for Cuddy, after a great night Wednesday night, that is his first hit. He's now 1 for 4. Ollinger's pitch, a curveball, and Schmitz waits on it, pounds it to center, but there's Burns playing in, and Avery, if he's playing where most center fielders do, or even sometimes you'll see in the ninth inning they'll play a little bit back even because they don't want to get burned. So that's a base hit. But where Burns, who's played really strategically very well, he's right there to snag that line drive out from Schmitz.
And it just looks so tempting out there. There's so much grass behind him. But you really got to hit it hard, and, Burns has speed out there, and he's run down a couple balls that have been hit, over his head.
Well, the air is heavy. There's a lot of humidity, so the ball's not going to carry as well. The wind is blowing in from right field.
I mean, he's still taking steps forward. He's almost in a spot that if it was like, they were losing or something 5-4, he's got to get the play at home plate. That's how close he is, and there's just a guy on first with one out.
There's Ollinger's pitch to Spring. He grounds it foul down third base. He kind of got spun out of the batter's box there. Yeah, the left fielder and the right fielder both play further back than Burns does in center. And I tell you what, that's a guy that has good baseball IQ. He knows what he can do, knows the situation. And I'm sure 32-year coach Frank Leo, may have something to do with that as well. He's coached a few games in 32 years. 1 ball, 1 strike to right fielder Jacob Spring. And the pitch, Spring to right center field. Burns is on his horse, and he is going to run it down. That one just hung up there, Avery. Spring hit it pretty good. Burns got a great read off the bat and ran it down, and really wasn't that dramatic of a catch by Burns.
Well, and that probably would have been a lot easier, more of a routine play if Burns would have been about 10 feet back where most center fielders were playing like we just talked about. But instead, he's got to run, 30, 40 feet to try to get there. And he gets there and makes it look easy.
Still made it look routine. So 2 down for the Broncos here in the bottom of the ninth inning. Ollinger delivers, and he tied up his L right in on the hands. Strike 1 as Trevor fouled it off. Trevor's 0 for 3 tonight. A strikeout, ground out to second, and a line out to short. 8-2 Hayes looking to hand the Broncos their first loss of the season. It's been great pitching from Fromson and Ollinger here tonight. Azell, left-handed batter, third baseman, and takes high for ball 1. Azell was the first batter that Ollinger faced back in the 7th inning after Fromson went 6 strong. And Ollinger struck out Trevor in that 7th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. Not being held on at first is Cuddy, and Azell fouls it off, and the Broncos are down to their last strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Big thanks to Landon Bush, who was up here in the press box. We got to talk to him earlier in the game, and to Casey Wolf, who takes all the great photos and puts them on the El Dorado Bronco Facebook page. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ollinger with the pitch, and he goes off speed, and he strikes out Azell for the 2nd time. And for the first time this season, this week, the El Dorado Broncos taste the bitter taste of defeat, Avery, and couple of timely hits from Hayes, but more than that, I think the storyline of this game is tremendous pitching, which that's as good a pitching as we've seen this week. Fromson 6 strong, and Ollinger came in, and he retired 9 of the 10 guys he faced, just gave up the single to Cuddy.
Yeah, the pitching from the Larks was outstanding tonight. Those 2 runs, I think I was back in the 5th inning, was all that they gave up. And between Ollinger and Fromson, 2 dominant pitching performances from those 2 great pitchers.
So for Hayes tonight, they score 8 runs on, let's see, 1, 4, 5, 6, 8 hits. 8 runs on 8 hits for the Larks with no errors, and for the Broncos, they scored 2 runs tonight on 6 hits. The winning pitcher is Jake Fromson. The losing pitcher, hard luck loser, Matt Slaughter. We kind of quit talking about Matt, Avery, and I know it's a losing effort, but 6 innings, just 3 runs given up, and 6 strikeouts for Slaughter. he was very good, but he'll be saddled with the loss here
Yeah,
tonight.
just one bad pitch from him in the first inning left the ball hanging, and a home run was hit off of it, and that was the 3 runs that he gave up. So 1 pitch, 3 runs. The rest of his outing, great. Six innings. Other than that, first inning, 5 shutout innings from him. And the good thing is for the Broncos, you got them again tomorrow night. A lot of these teams you play one night and then you won't have them for another week or so. You can get your redemption tomorrow night and then you have them again Sunday.
And, of course, we'll have the broadcast here, weather permitting. All the information will be on the El Dorado Bronco Facebook page and probably on Twitter as well. If there is a game schedule or if the game is going to go on, we'll have the link for you as well. And we look forward to more of you watching and listening tomorrow night. Hope you've enjoyed tonight's broadcast. The final score, Hayes 8, El Dorado 2. For Avery Olson, I'm Kurt Caden, bidding you good night from El Dorado.